Hey nerds, welcome back to another video. Today I want to work on this area. We've been doing a lot of farm stuff recently, but I want to finish our little starter area. So that's what we're gonna work on today. Honestly, I just want to get into it. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so what I'm thinking is I want to clean up my area. I've done a few things already, but what I'm thinking is that I want to put the barn sort of where that sheep is, or maybe a little further back. And then I have a chicken coop that I have to make somewhere around here. I have no idea where I want to put that. And then later, I want to make a butcher house and a shed with a secret little project in it, but we'll get to that part later. And then after that, I want to build a pathway from there, down there, all the way where that little like free area is, to then build a fishing dock, because to be honest, when I get super bored, I come down here and fish. And I want to build a little dock because one of the things I want to do for this world is make the whole thing connected by rivers so I can go through boats. Over here, I did move the villagers to down here to clear up some space, and this guy is now selling suspicious stew that gives saturation, which my auto eating from my backpack actually does work with. So now I'm just eating the best food source without it cluttering my inventory. I'm gonna move this down to the fishing area when we get to that point. I made this little well that is actually usable so we can get some water easily. I put a few buckets down to be cute. I moved the enchantment table under here and used this for the lighting. It felt more moody, and it does work. So I need to put some lapis down here. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is I want to go ahead and get the chicken coop built. Well, maybe the barn. The barn is so much bigger than the chicken coop, which is why I'm thinking about building the chicken coop first. I want to build both kind of far away from the house, but I don't want to build it like past the train tracks. That's where I want to put the shed, I think. We can also build down there some if I run out of room, which I don't think I will, but it's always an opportunity. And then I want to bone meal some of the area to make it less, well, plain. I also want to hide those torches and change them to glowstone and moss carpets. So let's all get something clear. This is not going to be a short project. I expect this to take me many days. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the stuff for the chicken coop, because I think the chicken coop is going to be the easiest. And then I think I want the barn there. I would assume that like here-ish would be fine. Sort of where I broke this little piece. I'm going to go ahead and crack on with the first montage of many. So yeah, let's roll it. Alright, so I do think I want to put it right here. I think that makes sense. This is where I'm going to put the chicken coop. However, before I do, I want to say that my kind of idea for this place, just so you understand the sort of builds we're doing as we go on, is I want this place to be like a starter homestead in a way. So we're going to have like a chicken coop, we have the greenhouse, we're going to have normal, like a barn later. Stuff that would help me be more self-sustained. That's why the logging yard is not too far from us, because that's where we go to get our logs to build this place. Stuff like that, where it all kind of makes sense in this little area. So that's what I want to do. That's what I want to try to do. And I'm going to put the chicken coop here because the barn itself is going to have a section for the animals to sort of free roam. So that's going to be like over there-ish. You'll see it when we get to that part. The barn is so much bigger than the chicken coop, which is why I'm doing the chicken coop first, to kind of give us a sort of sense of scale. If I don't like how big the barn is sitting over there with the chicken coop right here, I might build it over there, but I'm not set, because what I'm sort of thinking, and I can still play with the idea, is I'm going to build the chicken coop sideways, kind of like here where I'm standing, where the cage part is facing this way, and that's like sort of towards the entrance of our little train stop. So that should help. I think that'll be a lot better. And then we could put the barn there and instead put the shed that I'm gonna build later over here. I don't know. I'm still playing with a lot of this. Honestly, none of this is set in stone or set in concrete. So we can still play around, luckily. But so yeah, I'm just gonna get to work. Roll the time lapse. Well, isn't this all cute? To be honest, this is one of my more favorite builds because a little fun fact about me, my family actually raises chickens, so I've actually had to deal with real chicken coops, and I tried to make this very similar to the one, like how they sort of did theirs. I still live at home, so I'm very used to the chickens and chicken coops at this point. And this is very cute. It's a very cutesy little design. I like it. I wanted to go with the sort of wiring mesh vibe my family has, but there wasn't like a large enough wire looking block in the game, other than iron bars, but those looked ugly. So I went with copper, and honestly, I like it. It's very much a different color from everything else, but I kind of fuck with it. I don't know. I mess with this heavy, so let me show you inside while we also put our chickens in. In between clips, I went and got a bunch of chickens. I think they're in here. Yeah, so I wanted to get every chicken type so we can get each type of egg, but also this little fella wandered into my house, so we're gonna bring Chip. Chip, you're finally getting a home. Let's go, buddy. He'll be the first chicken in the coop. I also want to get a few guard dogs later that I can put around the barn and chicken coop, because once again, just one of those things in my own family. We have a lot of dogs that are supposed to help watch the farm, and Crow is more of a calm house dog, not really a guard dog. Here's the inside, the little cage piece where they get let out and play during the day. They're safe in here. So they have a little water piece to drink from. This is supposed to be chicken feed. Once again, not really a block that looks like chicken feed, so I went with what I had. Got a little compost box because our chickens, for some reason, like to play in little totes. So I thought it'd be a funny little homage to have a little tote like box in here. And then here's the inside. Once again, a little bit more feed, and these are supposed to be chicken like resting boxes where you can get their eggs from. All right, let's put these new chickens in. I'm gonna use fast right click to get, no, we'll do it slower. I want at least, oh, don't tell me you're not gonna give me one. Thank you. Are you kidding? Just one? That's the worst. Okay, what the fuck? All right, so we have 4 of you, 1 of you, and we're probably gonna have multiples of the original. There we go. But yeah, that's my chickens. I hope they don't like despawn, because if they do, it's gonna suck, and I will have to name the second bat. Oh, it's raining. I don't know why, but recently I've been loving the rain in this game. There's something so atmospheric about it. So yeah, these guys will now grow up. Oh, that's cool. I play with particle rain, the mod. It makes rain like slide off the wall. I didn't notice that. I decided to put a shed here. We're gonna put a shed in the backyard, so we'll keep this space open for that, which means that I want to build the barn over here-ish, somewhere in this general vicinity. I think a small thing I want to do real quick though before I tackle the barn, because the barn is a huge project, I want to move my nether portal somewhere. I'm thinking either in this little corner over here, because it just being here is so in the way. It just kind of cuts up all the view. I know you could say the same thing about the watchtower, but the watchtower is necessary. I'm thinking right here, so then it's less in the way. Well, no, if we want less in the way, then I think moving it to here over in the side, and then we'll build a tiny little this kind of path instead. So it's a more like off to the side project. Yeah, let me do that real quick. All right, I quickly built it, and I'm a little scared that I didn't do it right. Wait, that's not right. That's not supposed to be there. Did they not link right? Does that still work though? Yeah, actually that works just fine. I might link it properly later. And then honestly, I just want to build like a cute quick little, not like too uniform path. Like I want to like have accidentally became a path from how much we walk back and forth. There, it's kind of uniform, but not really. And I can, if I grab this, it'll like hide the path a bit. Like here. Yeah, just spruce it up with a little bit of grass. Honestly, I got rid of the grass in this area originally to help build, but I've missed it. It does add a lot more atmosphere than I think it does, but that helps. That makes the place feel like overgrown, a little taken over. Sweet. Oh, that looks so much better. It's subtle, but it makes the place feel more, I don't know how to explain it other than just like foresty. Like here, here. Then I want one here. How we feeling about that? I think I can use a little bit more. We'll do a little actual angle there because that's gonna get turned to grass, both of those. Put one there. I'm gonna focus way too much on this path. I know I will, so I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. Yeah, there we go. It's a little thick in some areas, a little thin in the others. I like it. I want this place to feel warm. It's the only way I can describe the feeling. I want you to like look at this place and have like a warm, fuzzy sort of vibe. What we're gonna do now is I'm going to do another little montage, actually. I want to do a montage for the barn. So I'm gonna do a montage to get the materials for the barn. So yeah, let's do the montage. Roll it. Well, wasn't that fun? I will be honest, that montage took me like 2 days. I wasn't as consistent as I should have been, but whatever. I think I'm gonna build the barn around here, kind of where I'm stationed. Maybe, probably here-ish to be a little bit away from the barn or the train stop. But also, like, push comes to shove, I can push that train stop a little bit more. That I will say, I do kind of. I mean, I also could shorten it because I kind of don't like how the track is going to be in the middle of the barn. So we might even shorten it. I don't know. I'll play with that idea some more. But we still have so many builds to get to, so I'm going to quickly crack out this barn. Start the time lapse. Look how cute this thing is. I'm gonna be so honest. This took me like a solid week for some reason. I wanted it to be perfect, but I didn't want it to be too stereotypical. I know I wanted it to be a red and white barn using the new pale wood. And honestly, I think it's one of my new favorite builds. So I will go through some of the design choices I made, but I will say that I am trying to be a little quick through these because we have a lot of builds. Like, so many builds. So I'm gonna do this really quickly. Right, we're gonna get a little snappy. Also, it's about to storm where I live, so I'm trying to beat that because that's gonna be really annoying to edit out, like the thunder. So when you first walk in, this is what you see. I really love this feeling. It's very warm. The barn does feel very warm, which I think was kind of what I wanted. You look over here, this is where I'm gonna put like horses, donkeys, and maybe a mule. I'm thinking about a mule, but I'm not set on a mule. And then on the other side, we have our actual farm animals. So we have sheep, which I have went through and named them. So they're going to be named so they don't despawn or anything. You have the same thing over here, which these two are just a fun pun. You got Moo and Bloom. If you know, you know. And then we have a pig area. I don't know what they're doing. But if we go upstairs, or up the ladder, I guess, there's a section for storage. So we have like spare wheelbarrows. These I want to fill up with like food and extra pieces. A part of me wants to hang something here, like with armor stands. But we have these spare wheelbarrows, which, by the way, this is the dumbest wheelbarrow I've ever made. And I kind of love it. It's so stupid. It's so unpractical. It's too tall, but I like it. And then on the other side over here, we have some spare wheels, even more barrels. This is for tools to hang up on a tool rack, and another extra wheelbarrow. I wanted this top piece to be sort of like a nice storage area for stuff the barn might need or the farm area might need. So I think it's done its purpose. Also, there was a lot of new design choices I did when making this. These arches were very fun. I did not like that one too much, like the extra trapdoor, but it actually grew on me because it looks like a nice solid support. Which is honestly why I did a lot of them. These little arches were directly for like supports. But also it makes the place just feel better. This place is covered in those arches. You got the arches for this. You got a bigger arch over there. The entrance has an arch. But I do quickly want to run over here and put in our first like actual rideable animal that isn't a pig. Hi, buddy. I got you in like episode 2. I don't think I ever named him. And I felt so bad because he's just been outside in my front door. Also, I will be moving the train back. Honestly, we might have a video soon where I completely redo the train system because I've realized there's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. There we go. You don't even have a name. What if it's just... Yeah. Yep, that's his name. He's in a constant state of just being disappointed. Middle one's gonna be for the horse. Because I do want to get a horse, which... Let's do that real quick. Let's go get a horse. Yo, I kind of want a black horse. These are some... Ooh, no. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all a really fun trick with horses. If you feed them a little bit of sugar and then get on them, they are a lot quicker to fall in love, like that. All right, what are your stats? Horse speed 10, jump is kind of no? Wait, why is this horse so good? I can also do something really funny, which is steal the other white one. Dude. Okay, I will admit, this is so cinematic. That barn is so worth it. That's so nice. I like where I put it. Also, look at this place on the mini-map now. I'm gonna put a few more of those like dirt paths to this one, and then I'll put a proper path up to the barn, I think, because we're gonna be using horses and stuff for it. There's a horse I had. You know what? I'm gonna name it actually what I named my favorite Red Dead Redemption 2 horse, which is Yuki. It's Japanese for snow. That's if the translation is correct. I'm not actually 100% certain. My favorite horse in Red Dead Redemption 2 was a large, white, heavy horse. It was like a carriage horse, and that horse lasted with me for the whole game. We got Snowball and Yuki. What I want to do next is the shed. And I'm thinking about building the shed there. I'm gonna make the shed, and I'm gonna make it around there, probably in the back. The shed is gonna hold something very, very important, because it will like help lead us into other builds in the world. And it'll also like expand the sort of story of our world. So I'm gonna go build that in creative, and you'll see the montage. Roll it. All right, so we're gonna build the shed around here. It's gonna be more in the back. It's gonna be bigger than I originally wanted it to be. To be very honest with you, I was not expecting it to be this big, but I'm not complaining. It's fine. So I'm gonna put it here-ish, just where this like little center patch of grass is. But before that, I actually wanted to show you something that you kind of saw during that montage. Okay, so over here is something I've been wanting to make in this world for a while. It's just a simple like block V-tape, if you will. Not really full on V-tape, but like it's very simple, as you saw in the time lapse. Blocks go over here and then go down to here and then go up. And the reason I wanted that is because it will help with a lot of things. If I want to get a bunch of stripped wood or unwax a bunch of copper, or if I have a bunch of silk touch like ore, I can come here and place it all down and then mine it. It's really nice with my vein miner, and honestly, it's like super simple to make. This little system is to make sure it doesn't make an infinite loop. This is what powers it all, and I need to remember that glass exists. I've realized this recently. I've completely just stopped using glass and redstone, but it actually would have made this more compact and easier, but whatever. These all power this observers at the same time, making that cool little wave pattern you saw, and then this just makes it automatically send one over instantly, and then this pushes the blocks over. Also, I need to make a rocket farm in the nearest future. I think we might have a super farm heavy episode in a little bit. I know we had 2 farm heavy episodes back to back, but like I'm talking massive farm episode, like a huge XP farm and a rocket farm. So before we crack on to this, I did make a train stop over here. I did move it like I said I was going to, and then I made this nice little pathway actually connecting to it. So it feels more together with this area. It also just looks so much better on the minimap, honestly, with the flowers I've been putting in, with the bone meal, and the paths now coming more together. I like the wiggly paths for some reason. They're tickling my brain just right. Okay, so now I am planning on building the quick shack we need, and before we do that time-lapse, I will say, I do know that this video has been very time-lapse and montage heavy. To be very honest with you, I understand. I'm just doing so much work in such a little span of time, but who knows? I might cut back a little bit, like do some more things in between, because I can understand that just watching time-lapses and montages can get very boring. With that being said though, well, that's like 3rd time-lapse, I think. Oh god. We still have like 4 more builds, maybe. I think it might be 1. Might be 1 or 2. I don't know. I'm gonna play with those numbers. Either way, roll the time lapse. One of these days, I promise that I'm actually going to build something at the proper scale. This was not supposed to be this big. This is actually excessively big, especially since it was supposed to be a, quote, small shed. Alright, well, let's explore our small shed and actually talk about what's going on, and we'll talk about the big piece in a second, because we're actually going to do a little work, because it's not fully finished, but it is. So we have spare wheels again. I like this, like, spare wheels, parts being worked on, you know, this propeller. The second I saw this great looking block, I looked at it and went, that's such a mechanical block that has so much versatility. It's being used as 2 things here. So it's being used as the propeller, which I learned that the lightning rod, like the end fits literally perfectly, because it's a 4-pixel hole, and that's a 4-pixel hole right there. So it is 1-to-1 amazing. And also this is a 4-pixel hole, and so is this. So it lines up beautifully, making like an engine sort of texture. Now, I do know that this is gonna rust, and I might come through and wax it later, but let's actually talk about what this is. It's a plane. Before we get into the plane, because I'll get in there in a second, this is a fluid tank, which I know traditionally fuel fluid tanks are supposed to be like sideways, wide, not tall, but there wasn't enough room, so I made it the tall version. And there are some fluid tanks that actually have it the tall way. It's just very, very uncommon because of a bunch of nerdy science stuff that I'm not smart enough to explain. But I used the void glass texture trick to make it look like there's a lot of density, which I really enjoyed. It gives it so much more volume, it feels. Now, if I get into here, so we can sit in the plane. I am gonna show off every part. So I went through so many iterations of this stupid plane, but we have the propeller, which we actually need to finish, so we'll talk about that one more later. We have the wheels, which originally I had a 2 design, like 1 here and 1 here, but it looked ugly. So I did a 3 design, like how traditional old planes used to be. This is very much based off of those old planes, like the original one that the Wright brothers made, and just old propeller planes, pretty much. And I tried to make it as like steampunky or as like wooden, rustic as I could get. And honestly, I mean, let's be so for real, I kind of killed it. This is the engine piece, or what's supposed to look like the engine or the battery. And then this is the fuel tank for it, I guess. I don't really know. It's like engine, fuel tank. And then this is the back wing, which I really like. I said that this was important for other reasons other than just like a cool build. This was a sneak peek into the other things in our world, and it will be, because I think other than my character is doing inventions, right, but is also homesteading at the same time. While he was homesteading, he's been doing research and inventing, right? There's a few books I have written down of like research and stuff. That's why I'm documenting so many things. And that's why as the builds went on, they got a little bit more modernized. Like, you can kind of see the evolution in a way, because I don't, okay, not modernized, more industrial, I guess. Because you have the original cabin, which is like woody, bare bones. You have a classic well with some water saved up. And then you have the greenhouse, which uses a lot more realistic crop things. You know, we're getting a little bit more gardening, a little bit more almost green. But then later we get the barn and the chicken coop, which is definitely more homestead. And then over there, a whole sawmill opens up that we run. So we had to invent a bunch of parts for the sawmill, which then circles all the way back to the secret passion project of vehicles, which I do want to do so many more. This is just the start. In my world, we started with trains and then planes, kind of like what happened in the real world, but I don't think we did cars yet. So cars might be last. I don't know where that timeline is in the real world, but yeah, this means I could do more stuff like this, more plane-like builds. I honestly, I don't see a lot of people building vehicles in Minecraft, and I think it's because it's very much a like medieval sort of style game, but you can do medieval vehicles, like steampunky, rustic vehicles. It's possible. I have proven it. You know, it does look rustic. It looks very wooden. A few little details I did on purpose is I did not wax any of this copper, and that's so that over time the fuel inside of it's going to corrode it, like how rust works. So yeah, I like this place. It's one of my, I love the plane so much. It took me so long to build it. I went through so many versions of this little plane. But speaking of it, like I said, we're not actually done. So let's get on to that part. You see this, the little propeller? We're missing something very crucial, and that's the actual propeller itself. So we are going to use an armor stand for this, the first armor stand of many, and I'm going to try to do this. I have done this already in my test world, right? So I sort of know what I'm doing. It's not that bad, but I have to move it to the head. And then if I remember, it was like a 4 times scale. It could be 5. We're going to do make him invisible and scale up by 5. I think it's 5. Be 4, and then I drop this down as much as I can to get the damn stick back. So it is gonna darken, but I actually don't mind that for this. I think that works in our favor, weirdly enough. So we're going to push it forward. While I do this little piece, I do want to talk about a little bit more about what I was trying to say in the last clip, is that the whole point of the airplane is to start introducing technology into our world, because to be honest with you, I'm on a huge cyberpunk kit. That's why this video has been delayed. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that is lined up. Lock. Done. Nope. But that's not too... Okay, that is pretty... Position you this way more. Up a little. I need to like find that balance that I do not... But yeah, I'm on a really big cyberpunk kick right now, and because of that, it's made me want to learn how to build in the... It's made me want to learn how to build in the cyberpunk style. Oh, that actually looks perfect. Is that perfect? You know what? That's as good as we're gonna get. So we're like 2 pixels off here, and then... Actually, that's even in an odd way. That's actually lined up properly. That's stupid. I managed to... I failed successfully, if you will. All right, I'm satisfied. So yeah, there's the propeller. It's literally a singular armor stand, but it works so well. It works better than any other propeller I could have built. Yeah, so I've been getting into I'm on like a huge cyberpunk kick. So eventually I want to build a cyberpunk city in this world, but I want there to be like an evolution of technology, if you will, like a visual one out to the world. So like some districts got really futuristic, some stayed more modern, some stayed medieval, or like even like industrial sort of, and then some areas just did not touch technology at all, and some touched technology so much that they, you know, completely killed their society. I want to build an apocalyptic city, okay? Leave me alone. So yeah, this is the first part. There's a few other things I want to do. All right, I got a few mini blocks, which this was supposed to be a toolkit. I kind of see it. I like it. It's cute. And then I want to have a clock here to like show me how long I've been working. Now, another thing I want to do really quick is I think the path should be so much different from this one, because it's supposed to be like a takeoff point, right? but there's no way I can fit a runway in here. And I don't even know if I'm going to build a runway over here. Well, I'll think about that one later. I am actually stumped on that. But what I need to do now is I want to go through and bone meal a little bit more, because I've really liked I really like what's happened over here with all the grass, and so I want to quickly do that a little bit. I'm not gonna do too much of that on camera because, well, let's be for real, it's boring. You don't want to see it, because it's literally just me doing this. Yeah, it's just me doing this for a while, and I like this. And I used to hate grass in Minecraft, to be honest, like just having grass and flowers all over the place. I don't know if you can notice that fact by the fact that that was like the first thing I got rid of when I got here. It just felt like it was always on the way, but it adds a nice clutter, honestly. Ooh, speaking of nice clutter, I need to move you. Yeah, I seriously need to move this thing by now. Part of me wants to move it down here, right? I just don't want it like in the open because it's kind of ugly, to be honest. And that means I'll have to move the, oh dang, I have to move the chunk loaders too. Wow, I really did care about the system. I tried so hard to use it, and the second I got shulker loaders, I threw it out. I'm keeping the chest there as like a memento to the original sorting system for my ores. Yeah, so this is literally all I've been doing when in my free time. Is just running around, bone mealing areas, just to make it look a little more clutter, and then break any tall grass because I hate the tall grass. All the other grass is grown on me, but tall grass will forever suck. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do for the next hour. I'm also gonna quickly move this guy somewhere, and then maybe build a little pathway, just kind of like how I did for the nether portal up to the watchtower over here, because I feel like it's important. The big pathways are for where I would ride a horse across, or like where I walk through often, right? But the tiny dirt pathways are ones that I want to like, they're kind of like ones that were made by accident. Like I'm running through there so often that eventually a pathway just kind of formed in a way. Then I'll decide what I want to do here, because a part of me wants to do pathway here, like one of the big ones, right? One of the big pathways. But the other part of me is telling me that has to be a runway. So unless I want to make this path follow onto a runway later, I could do that. I don't know. I'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens. I'm going to warn you all right now. It's currently storming where I live. So if you hear like rumbling in the background, I'm going to try to edit it out if I can. But if I can't, I don't know, blame Mother Nature. Okay, so I've done a little bit of stuff. I'll show it in a minute, but I actually was doing some more armor stand stuff, and I wanted to show this simple little way to make your characters like look more lively with armor stands. I love armor stands. Honestly, I think this is one of the best like things in Minecraft. So I'm using mini block heads. This is a robot worker for like mines, right? Which is kind of what I wanted him to look like. So one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to rotate him just a little bit. He doesn't have a name. I might add one later, I might not. It needs to make sense like thematically. It needs to make sense, like logistically, right? He needs to look like he's physically walking over to this direction. Yeah, this should help. All right, so now he looks like he's walking towards that cobblestone. I'm going to slightly, if I can get away with it, tilt his head to look more at me, look down a little. Luckily, since it's a robot, I can actually play into that. His movements don't have to look as human. They can look a little rat, like a little jagged. I think the head being straight is fine. The body's fine. Now the legs are going to be the worst bit because I want it to look like he's walking. Yeah, I want to get his arms straight real quick because this is going to be interesting. So what I want it to be is it looks like he is holding that block there. So this part's been done for now. We're going to hardcore focus on the blocks and the two hands here. I wanted to show this off because making people look alive is really hard to do with armor stands, and I think I can explain it. It's all about the positioning. You gotta think about it like how a human actually has arms. You know, you have to think about where people are, where the placement is. So you have this now. Can I bring it in the other way? Yeah. So bring it in this way, and then bring it in this way. Now this is where you have to get a little finicky and make some decisions. Is 35 good enough? Do I want it a little, one piece to be holding it a little higher or a little lower? Does that look... I need to fix this hand. And then I actually want to scoot it up a little more and then scoot it over a little. Look like his hand is like literally holding it or inside of it. Because if I wanted it to look like he was, well, I mean, I can actually make it look like he's holding. What I should have done is made this a separate armor stand. I don't mind using a second armor stand. I think it'll help. In reality, I probably should have done that because then I could have made the cobblestone more up to scale too. So we'll do this, and then invisible gravity. And I'm going to scale it not that far down. I'm going to scale it down about here. And since it's already the head, it's not that bad. We know what we need to do. We've done this already. This needs to be 100. And then we just position you down and then back. The hardest part is going to be lining it up to make it look proper, but that shouldn't be too bad. It's going to be interesting because you have to think about it in a sort of weird way. I want it to sort of look like he's holding the sides and then to the left, a little bit to the left. Yeah, like there's just a little bit there. I'm gonna make you, that looks good. Something broke. You didn't stay at 15. Yeah, so it looks like he's carrying it to there, but that's not all. I need to do the legs now, which are going to be a little different. For a leg walking, I don't like to make it too far out. I'd like to have one further than the other. Yeah, one less than the other. Legs are always the hardest for me, so don't even bother like overthinking this part too much. A little thing I've learned that helps is tilting the legs a little. Kind of looks like he's stomping into the floor. You can see down there. It helps, at least for me. And then a subtle thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the body ever so slightly by because that's going to make it look like he's pushing himself forward. You can see this little line right here makes him look like he's pushing himself physically forward. Kind of like how people walk is a really good way to think about it, honestly. And yeah, perfect. So now it looks like he's walking to go put that up. It's kind of funny. I've always loved building these like robot figures with armor stands, but now we're getting the copper golem. Like I'm going to play with that as well. And so it's going to be a fun mix of like my fake robots and now the literal real robot like golem creatures. So yeah, this is some of the things I wanted to get into more as like little world building around here as the technology advanced more and more, because we went from planes to now sort of rudimentary robots. I like to think he's steampunk-ish, although it's giving more cyberpunk-y the more I look at him, but I don't mind it. I kind of like it. All right, so there was some other things I did. I made this pathway up to the scaffolding. So now we have that. I have moved the super smelter, which I'll show you where it is in a minute. But I also made a path over here, which I made super wide because, you know, the plane would have to turn really wide right here. I went through and put all of the bone meal in. So we have all of this grass. It gives it a lot more life in a way. I really, really like it. Honestly, it adds so much more than I thought it would. Like I was on the fence about it a little, but I've loved it. I've grown to love it. I want to get a barn dog and a chicken coop dog, and I want to build little dog houses. I think the barn dog can stay in the barn, but like I want to make a little, maybe a little house or a little fence area for the, I need some bones, and I think I know what breed I want. There's like that German Shepherd looking dog that I think would be great. And then part of me wants the zebra looking dog. I don't know how else to explain it. I will say one of the big reasons I'm doing this right now, like at this point in the video, is because it's been very build heavy all day and all episode, and I kind of just, I feel like we need a moment to relax, get a little, get some dog hunting done, because like the armor stands are a bit more relaxing, right? But sometimes I just need to fly around my world and get a new dog. I mean, I could get the snow dog. That is an animal I can get. Spam should have him. Yeah, I want a dog from every climate. Is this a good chicken dog? There we go. I've never had my feed thing fail so hard. We got a dog. I'm gonna quickly go put him home and get another one. I'm gonna build a little shed piece off the back of this, which is where I'm gonna have him guard it. He can like go here and sleep. That's where he sleeps and stuff, right? I am gonna make it look better. Don't worry, this isn't gonna be his permanent home, but I like it. I'm gonna be honest, I do have a specific dog in mind for the barn. Like I said, I think I want the German Shepherd looking dog. And these won't replace Crow. Crow will always be top dog, but I think I saw some over here when I was building the trainer. They were like running through. Yep, what'd I tell you? Hi. There we go. That's my trick working well. If you don't know what trick I'm talking about, I'll explain it in a second. Let me get you home. But the trick is when you feed a dog and then instantly give it a bone, most of the time, keyword most of the time, you should automatically get the dog because the love hearts, I don't know if it like tricks it or something in Minecraft's code fucks up for like a split second, allowing you to instantly get the dog. It's worked for me 90% of the time. There are the rare occasions where it doesn't work and I get embarrassed. Let's get him on the proper little carpet. Yeah, I like it a lot more. Also for a carpet, I'm thinking we keep it classy since it's inside the barn. We'll make it a simple, I was gonna say little carpet, but you know, if I make anything to a reasonable scale, I think I will just despawn as a human. I don't think I'll function. There we go. I just wanted to break it up. What do I want to name you? We have Crow as our main dog. I can name him Hawks. You look like a Hawks. Boom. Hell yeah. Because the fur color is kind of like a hawk. I know. And if we're going with that, well then, I mean, I feel like I have to do like a snow owl, right? I don't know any other white birds other than a pigeon. I go to start my dishwasher one time. Just one time. How did a pillager kill me? That's actually first death. They're still here. Captain's log, first 7-17-25. That's probably spelled wrong. I love the English language. I had 100 levels. What was my death? I think I have it like delete after, but I'm pretty sure it was here. That's gonna be my grave. It's whatever. I expected it to happen like sooner rather than later. Yeah, number of deaths. My hardcore run. Dude, that was such a rookie mistake too. I paused on the name tag thing here, right? To go check out something I needed in the real world. Don't give me the beautiful rainbow after that. All right, I did pick a name. All right, it took some time. I thought about it. This is gonna be snow bunting, which is an actual bird. It looks like this. So yeah, I think it fits pretty well because like the fur. All right, so to be honest, I did whip it up pretty quick, but I like it. Also, I realized I never really used trapdoors as roofs. Kind of nice, kind of fun, kind of fun. This light is unnecessary, but I wanted a lantern. So there you go. Snow bunting has a little home. He'll have his own food and water. Wonderful. I think I'm supposed to put that into the ground with an armor stand, but hi buddy, hi Hawks. Almost definitely supposed to put that in something. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. And then of course we need one for inside for the main man himself. Yeah. His food and water can go. I know, I died. Why didn't you do anything, Crow? Oh, I see. Okay. No, I get it. You're just tired. Okay, so now that we have taken a few different detours, and we've honestly taken more of a detour than I wanted, we're gonna get back to the main building stuff, which I said I wanted to make a little raft down here, right? I want to make a path down here, and then I want to make a proper dock and a little fishing hut. And I still do. But we're gonna switch it up a little bit. You're not gonna see the material grind. You've seen it every other time. It's something very similar. I'm running through my stuff, grabbing just things out of my chest. So you're not gonna see a montage. Instead, you're just gonna see right to the time lapse. So yeah, roll it. Wasn't that a nice time lapse? This build only took me 5 minutes. I honestly thought it was going to be a little longer. But there's a little glaring issue. I don't know if you've noticed. Let me bring you down here. So yeah, the glaring problem is that this is a little hill, and I need to put a path up here. Because what I want is a path from that doorway going up over here and then all the way up to the the mining path. But a part of me wants to turn it back into the normal like mudstone path and go down like that. In fact, that might be what I do, because this was supposed to be like industrialized. That's why it's more flat, more earthy, like it was made by accident, eventually just paved over because it was necessary. But this is more intentional. So before we do that though, I do want to explain the build a little. All right, let's get into the building. Okay, so in here is more of like a little show, right? It's a fishing shack. I'm gonna put some decoration in here in a minute, but down here is where I'm gonna move the AFK fish farm. Yeah, down there is where I'm gonna move the AFK fish farm, and I'm gonna do some funky stuff with that. But I'm also made room here to make an actual like dock built out. So I kind of realized, hey, let's have a funny little chat for a second. So I realized that I have done over 8 different kind of montages and time lapse this episode. That's not normal. I was trying to test out doing a lot more time lapses and just being like super project heavy this episode. And I mean, it worked. It did great. I got a lot done. But we're gonna have to spice it up a little. I'm still playing with things. So it was a very montage heavy episode, and that's not gonna be a constant. But I noticed that like halfway through filming, I was like, oh, I've done a lot of these. I should probably spruce it up just a little bit. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna do this decorating with you a bit. We're gonna do it in cuts, just to make it easier on me and you. All right, so what I wanna do is I want to quickly take the jungle that I laid out, and let's build the dock down. It ain't too bad. Dude, I love shaders underwater. Unironically, one of the biggest reasons I keep them. like I try so hard to keep them on all the time. It's because this feels so, the word isn't realistic, but it just feels very vibey. Like if I think of underwater, this is how I think. Ooh, also speaking of, we need to put a little crafter in here, a little crafting table. I think that'd be a good block because I wanted to try a new building style, which is why I built it how I built it. I wanted to try a subtle clutter because I hate like super cluttered builds. Okay, I don't hate them. They're just, they hurt my brain. I have to think about them a lot more, so I don't like building them. I do like how they look. And I mean, I liked what I did. It was more subtle. I wanted this shack to look rickety and old. Like it was one of the first things I set up because I fished when I first got here. So it makes sense that like this is one of the first things I try to set up, something I could fish on. So I wanted it to look old, rustic. I wanted these to look more like steel, like steel sheets, which is why I laid them how I did. It kind of does what I want. And then this is supposed to be a little ventilation because rotting fish smells bad. And this was just some quirky little design just to make the roof less flat. So yeah, let me make slabs real quick. I also made some stairs just to easily transition into it. Here's the thing. I had ideas to make boats here, like real boats, like the vehicle I did up there, right? But these are going to be paddle rafters or like sail rafters. But I don't want to do that in this video. I think I'll do that as the start to next video because this video is getting kind of long. I don't mind longer videos, but so I should build that with this in mind. I'm going to build it out for now, but I'm not actually going to build it for now, like the actual offshoots, just because of the fact that I want to build boats and I'm going to need the measurements for those. And I want it to look like a busy dock when I actually get it set up. So I'll probably do some more detailing. Like I want to toss some barrels around. Do I have barrels on me? I have a lot of barrels. Give me a second. Yeah, I have more than enough barrels. Okay, I want to sparse a few barrels around. I don't want them to look like they make sense. Yeah, like a stack of barrels there. Ooh, you know what I can do? Yeah, mini blockheads for the win. Barrel of water. Actually, I should probably get like stacks of this. There we go. Barrel of water. Yeah, some side barrels. I love the mini blockhead mod. Barrel of sand. That's funny. Oh, that's like for a beach. Never mind. That's cute. That's cute as hell. It'd be really funny to have one realistic crate. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with these. Ooh, amethyst. Like there's a shipment. All right. So I wanna have him as like a cute little secret. I like it. Sparse it up. I'll put one of you here. It's gonna be our little secret. Also, I want one of these guys in here. Like I'm trying to clean off my tools because I'm gonna sparse some tools in there later, and then we'll have the other barrels just kind of scattered if I can. To be honest, this is why I don't show a lot of this, because it is just boring busy work where I'm just going through and triple checking every decision. You can have this there and one there and one there. There we go. It makes them look a lot more cluttered in a nicer way. Oh yeah, let's not forget the one realistic crate. I want it to be like a, you have to look at it twice. Yeah, right there. Perfect. Wonderful even. Also for the candle, I want to put it in here. I hate that candles are directional. I've said this for a while now. I don't like they're directional with their like 3 stacks. They always face, yeah, they're always facing east. I don't like that. That's annoying. I'm not gonna clutter this because like I said, I'm gonna build it out more after I have the boats made in the next episode. So that's gonna be a next episode thing. I really quickly want to build a path, which I'm not gonna show you. Let's be so real. Path building is the most boring thing I could ever show. And I can't afford another time lapse. So I will be right back. Alrighty, so I did a bunch of boring work. I got the path completely done. Just curved it up to this. And may I say, very, very annoying. These weird wonky paths I've been doing are, they take my brain more than 2 seconds to think about it. And I don't like that fact. So it goes all the way up to the mines up here. Perfect, wonderful. Perfectly goes over all the way down here. I had to clear out so many trees. The next thing I'm gonna do in between episodes is I'm just gonna move the AFK fish farm. You know what? This video is almost over, which is why I'm thinking about it. It's such an easy farm to move. All right, I'm gonna move it really quick. Hey, so cute story. It is about 2 days later since my last clip. I have done so much random shit in between there. I don't know. It's been a busy weekend, so, but, I just woke up not even 10 minutes ago. Let me show you what I did. It wasn't a lot. It was literally just move the thing. All right, so yeah, this is pretty much all I did. I just moved the AFK fish farm down here, moved all of the stuff down. I will, in between episodes, decorate this because it's gonna be boring. This place finally looks clean. I like it. It looks so good. Oh! Yo, there's rabbits. I didn't know rabbits spawned in meadows. It's kind of sick. I'm so tired, dude. I literally just woke up. I woke up and went right to filming. However, I did want to fix something before we ended the episode because I noticed something. I Do not like our boy here. Not because of anything he did. It's actually his head. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that because I realized he looked way too futuristic. And I don't like that. I felt like it was too high of a jump, you know? Yeah, there we go. It felt way too futuristic. Honestly, I think that's the first one I grabbed. I think is perfect. Maybe him. I've used these heads before, but there's not really many steampunk robot heads. Hey buddy, I'm gonna need your skull. It needs to look like he's used to being in the mines, and like he's designed for the mines, you know? What about this one? Kind of has like a golem look, or like a villager look, which would make sense. Because if he's like one of the first robot prototypes, I would have to base it off of something. I guess I could have based it off of a villager. Kind of like it actually. And it has like a little place to plug him back into to refill him. Do I want to keep this though? Yeah, no. All of my tech in my world, whatever it is, started in this random homestead. That's kind of the, I guess, lore, if you will. I don't like to say lore though, it feels kind of dumb. It's like the world building in a sense there, if that makes it feel better. Is that all of our tech, no matter how advanced it gets, starts here. Yeah, no, that looks god awful. How we feeling about orangey brown? Isn't brown just a darker orange? It just doesn't match the head, but it doesn't need to match the head fully, I guess. Well, I mean, in this case it does. It's a robot, right? But I think that blends in enough. I think that's good enough. The shirt has to be a little brighter. Maybe it's to help see in the mines. The lights will reflect off of it. That's my boring excuse. I meant real example. Yeah, it's kind of how I'm feeling. Keep it simple. Yeah, this does feel a lot better actually. This was a lot more steampunky. Feels a lot more retro. And he still is moving very jagged. Like, I haven't worked out how to use joints yet. It works in the favor. It works in my favor. Sweet. You know what's kind of funny? I honestly do not have a good place for the outro, because usually I try to get the build in the outro, but we built so much in this episode. I think I did it. Either way, that will be it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. It was such a heavy project episode, to be honest. It was hard to find a good balance of boring, busy work and actual recording. So I hope I did it well. You know, we'll see during the editing process how well I did. But I mean, we got the barn done, the chicken coop done, the shed, mysterious plain shed done, and even the fishing dock started. I know I wanted to build a little slaughterhouse, but honestly, even though it makes sense logistically, like in the realism sense, I feel like that's a little too bad. Like, there was no sector I could have went to make that keep the same sort of cozy vibe we got going on, you know what I mean? So yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, nerds. Bye bye.